Declaring the office of Speaker of the House of Representatives to be vacant. Resolved that the office of Speaker of the House of Representatives is hereby declared to be vacant.
It's not who I am underneath, but what I do that defines me.
Matt Gaetz?
What's up, guys? It's your boy, Benny. I don't know why I even leave the studio these days. I might as well just bring a sleeping bag and a bunch of pillows and like some toaster strudels and s'mores and sit there in the studio with a campfire day and night and a cup of hot cocoa waiting for the next news to break. Because if I leave the studio for like 10 seconds, this happens. Matt Gaetz has filed the motion to vacate the chair. What that means is that Matt Gaetz is looking to kick out Kevin McCarthy from his seat. It's on. Matt Gaetz formally files motion to oust Speaker Kevin McCarthy from his speaker's chair. Holy schmoly. Gaetz spoke on the House floor on Monday. He accused Speaker McCarthy of having a secret side deal to offer more funding to Ukraine. Asked if he would refuse a deal with Democrats to avoid being outed. McCarthy sidestepped. I think this is about the institution. I think it's too important. Matt Gaetz has filed the motion and will trigger a vote to oust Speaker McCarthy within the next 2 days. The threatening to do so for weeks. Florida Republican filed a motion on the House floor on Monday night. GOP leadership must now hold a vote within the next 48 hours. McCarthy had a brief response to Gaetz' measure, bring it on. He wrote on X. This, of course, is this tweet right here. Bring it on. And Matt Gaetz responding, well, I just did. So there you go. I'm with Matt Gaetz. A lot of people dropping the popcorn. Here we go. Okay, so what does this mean effectively? Here is a good breakdown. McCarthy worked with Democrats over the weekend to pass a vote to prevent the government shutdown. This bipartisan shift triggered Gaetz to stand on the House floor today, officially calling for the process to remove him. Now McCarthy is facing a challenge. The only other two House speakers have ever faced in history must call a vote within 2 days to see if he has to vacate the seat. I cannot believe an act of bipartisanship triggered this vote. We need government officials on both sides working together to solve the country's problems. Politicians need to learn to put party over country. Do you think McCarthy should be outed? So what's interesting about what's going on here is that you have to have the majority of the House to vote to vacate the speaker, which is why this motion doesn't make any sense unless you have a House like you have now. Because the House you have right now, Republicans barely hold a majority. Republicans should have a massive majority in the House right now because Joe Biden sucks as commander-in-chief, but Republican Party sucks more. Joe Biden should have lost everything in the midterms. They were able to successfully make it about Trump. They were the House Republicans were super weak. And if it were not for California and New York, shockingly, we would still have a Democrat-controlled House. So because the margins are so thin in the House of Representatives, now Matt Gaetz can effectively call this vote, assuming that maybe maybe he'll vote with some Democrats. He'll get his Freedom Caucus to vote with some Democrats. Who knows? Here's what's going to happen. There may be a deal. There may be a deal for Matt Gaetz to side with the Democratic Party to oust Speaker McCarthy, and then Speaker McCarthy would get kicked out of his chair. The Florida Republican predicted that McCarthy would cut a deal with Democrats where enough would vote against the motion to offset any Republican opposers. One thing I'm at peace with is when I stand here a week from now, I won't own Kevin McCarthy anymore. He won't belong to me. If the Democrats want to adopt him, they can adopt him, Gaetz said, filing the motion. So, ladies and gentlemen, here is Matt Gaetz filing the motion on the floor of the House, an absolute barn burner.
So, Mr. Speaker, just tell us, what was in the secret Ukraine side deal? What commitments were made to President Biden to continue the spending of President Biden in exchange for doing things for President Biden? It is becoming increasingly clear who the Speaker of the House already works for, and it's not the Republican conference. Mr. Speaker, I would ask that these questions be answered soon, because there may be other votes coming today or later this week that could be implicated by the answers to these questions. Members of the Republican Party might vote differently on a motion to vacate if they heard what the Speaker had to share with us about his secret side deal with Joe Biden on Ukraine. I'll be listening. Stay tuned, and I yield back.
So Matt Gaetz clearly knows something that the rest of us don't know. What commitments were made to President Biden to continue the spending of President Biden in exchange for doing the things President Biden wants? Well, I will say this. There is an enormous amount of energy behind Matt Gaetz, obviously in the hardcore and active right. Marjorie Taylor Greene is somebody who's on my show this morning who is saying she doesn't see the benefit or value in this, that Democrats are the ones who win when there is chaos inside of the Republican caucus. I hate drama. Marjorie Taylor Greene tells Republicans to be adults. She is fed up with Kevin McCarthy's spending chaos, but warns that Matt Gaetz needs to back off his bid to oust him. Well, Matt Gaetz didn't listen to his longtime ally, Marjorie Taylor Greene. And so now you have effectively chaos inside of the Republican Party and chaos inside the Democrat Party as Democrats try and get Joe Biden to not run. So this has just been absolute bedlam. What's going to happen next, then, of course, is going to be a vote again in the next 48 hours to see if a majority of Congress would vote out the speaker. The reason why this doesn't happen often is because there's typically not so close of a margin and not like the Freedom Caucus that could really swing things for Republicans. Because remember, Kevin McCarthy only has like a 6-seat majority. Kevin McCarthy should have 1 more seats in the House. When asked about this motion to vacate, Kevin McCarthy had this to say this weekend.
There is a lot to get to with you. I want to start, though, on the news this morning from Congressman Matt Gaetz, who says he's going to seek a motion to vacate. He's going to try to oust you as Speaker of the House.
Well, that's nothing new. He's tried to do that from the moment I ran for office. Look.
Well, this time he says he's going to keep going. May not get there before the 15th ballot, but it took 15 for Kevin McCarthy. He says he's coming for you. Can you survive?
Yes, I'll survive. You know, this is personal with Matt. Matt voted against the most conservative ability to protect our border, secure our border. He's more interested in securing TV interviews than doing something. He wanted to push us into a shutdown, even threatening his own district with all the military people there who would not be paid, only because he wants to make this motion. So be it. Bring it on. Let's get over with it, and let's start governing. If he's upset because he tried to push us in a shutdown and I made sure government didn't shut down, then let's have that fight.
So, ladies and gentlemen, Matt Gaetz is saying that this is all over Ukraine spending and Kevin McCarthy effectively linking arms with Democrats in order to get his extension passed to prevent a government shutdown. Mr. Speaker, pursuant to Rule 2A, Rule 9, I rise to give notice of my intent to raise a question of privilege of the House. Matt Gaetz brings the motion to vacate. Matt Gaetz explained that this will be something that he is going to do because he wants to stop the uniparty in Congress. You don't know chaos until you've seen this Congress and this uniparty, what this uniparty is bringing to us. Matt Gaetz is effectively talking, of course, about the escalation in Ukraine, the escalation of the conflict in Ukraine, and that it may lead to, I think, nuclear war. I mean, I think there's no doubt about that. Matt Gaetz was given an opportunity to explain himself earlier this weekend about this motion to vacate, and here's what he had to say.
Tomorrow at noon, are you going to make a motion to vacate?
Speaker McCarthy made an agreement with House conservatives in January, and since then he has been in brazen, repeated material breach of that agreement. This agreement that he made with Democrats to really blow past a lot of the spending guardrails we'd set up is a last straw. And then overnight I learned that Kevin McCarthy had a secret deal with Democrats on Ukraine. So as he was baiting Republicans to vote for a continuing resolution without Ukraine money, saying that we were going to jam the Senate on Ukraine, he then turns around and makes a secret deal. Now, I know you and I probably have different views on U.S. involvement in Ukraine, but however you think about that question, it should be subject to open review, analysis, and not some backroom deal.
So I do motion to vacate tomorrow?
I do intend to file a motion to vacate against Speaker.
So he has been saying this for a while, and Matt Gaetz did just walk out of Congress and made commentary to the press. Ladies and gentlemen, check this out. Matt Gaetz saying if Democrats want to own Kevin McCarthy, they can have it. Here we go, ladies and gentlemen. Matt Gaetz going in.
Deal made with Democrats, the only deal is to make one with McCarthy, because I'm not offering anything and won't offer anything. And by the way, if the Democrats want to own Kevin McCarthy, they can have him. Because one thing I'm at peace with is when we stand here a week from now, I won't own Kevin McCarthy anymore. He won't belong to me. So if the Democrats want to adopt him, they can adopt him.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, it just got real. Here we go. I don't know what else. I don't know what else to say other than politics is a filthy game. It's a dirty game. People who do politics are liars. People who reach high levels in politics often want to betray the American people. And maybe it's nice to see Washington, D.C. shake and sit in fear a little bit. Maybe just a little bit. Maybe a lot of it. Maybe that's what we're looking for on this channel, because we want to end communism. Ladies and gentlemen, do that by liking, sharing, and subscribing to our channel. All hours of the night, we'll be here for you. See ya.